What's up, everyone? You are listening to Serving Tea, a podcast where we talk about all things tennis and more. We are your hosts, me, Jackie Fitz, and to the left of the chair, who do we have?
Zaina Zaki Fitz. This is episode 9.
How? Already, we're on episode 9. I just can't believe
Look
it.
at where we're sitting. Guys, did we not tell you we were going to get new mics? And
New
look,
mics, new lights,
new cameras.
action.
Yeah, look at all of this. This is
know.
amazing.
Absolutely amazing. I can't believe we're already on episode 9.
I know. And like today, it's going to be a fun episode.
Fun episode. We've been posting a ton on Instagram recently. If you have been following us, you've noticed that we've been talking a lot about King Kyrgios.
Mr. Nicholas. Does he go by Nicholas? No.
No, for sure not.
Mr.
Nick Kyrgios.
Nick Kyrgios.
Yeah, but also, happy Thanksgiving. I know we were talking a little bit about that last episode, but tomorrow is December 1st. So, I can't believe it.
December 1st. I feel like I'm whispering into this mic. Oh my God. Like having this new mic is incredible. Wait, hold on. Before we get into the fact that it's December 1st, tell me about your Thanksgiving. What did you do?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Thanksgiving was great. Went down to Florida for a couple days. It was awesome seeing my dad. Super. The weather was, it was actually kind of cloudy and rainy, but it was so warm. It was so nice. We went golfing. I'm telling you what, we need to make serving teas. I'm like, love tennis, but we should make teas, but for golf.
Okay, you heard it here first.
Heard it here first. I also didn't tell you this. I made a 220-yard drive.
What? Fitz. That's incredible.
I launched it. It was pretty. It was great. No, golf is so relaxing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's. I mean, we don't walk. We don't walk. We do the golf golf cart for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And we just did. We didn't do 18. We just did 9. But it took like, I don't know, like 2-3 hours. It was actually really sunny out. We saw 3 alligators.
Okay, see, I think this is normal for Floridians to see alligators. That would scare the shit out of me.
But the thing is this: you only really see alligators when you're on the golf course. Okay. Like if I'm going to a gas station, it's not like there's going to be a freaking alligator right there. Like of course you see, like the news will highlight an alligator will go through like the doggy door in a pool, like in someone's pool, or like they're connected to like a kitchen, and then there's sometimes an alligator that comes through.
That's absolutely
comes
horrifying.
through the kitchen, and then
Oh my God. Okay, but
it was great though.
Drive's amazing.
It was amazing. Golf was great. It was relaxing. I'm trying to get better at it. I need to find a good place though in New York to practice. I think there might be a Topgolf on Chelsea Piers.
So there's a Topgolf in New Jersey right across the bridge, but the one on Chelsea Piers is a driving range, and I mean we run by that all the time. We need to go.
We have to go. I feel like you'd be so good at it.
So
have you ever golfed?
Played golf one time, and it was at Topgolf, and it took me a little bit to get used to it because I mean with tennis it's so funny because I feel like with tennis you would be good at golf immediately just because of the stroke and like you're putting your hip through the ball. Like when you're playing tennis, your hip's going through the ball. It's all that rotation, and like I feel like it's the same with golf, but I was going so aggressively. Like I was like going so
like your serve
hard.
kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I feel like that's you'd be like good at driving and stuff. But like for golf, at least what like I was learning is like when you are driving, like it's important to keep your right foot like not having it turn so much, but like importance of like your hip movement.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a pro, but
I mean,
hey,
it was like
fun.
it was like going off to the side a lot. What is that called? Slicing, I
I
think.
think so. It sounds right. I mean, that's what we use for tennis, kind of.
Yeah,
but then, if you're slicing too much to the right, then you're kind of like shaking it. But I don't know. So yeah, Florida golf was great. Went out to Colorado with Mom. It was awesome. But yeah, we feel like we've been traveling a lot. But Thanksgiving was great. But enough about me. Enough about me. How are you? How was Thanksgiving?
Oh my God, you're the main character, Fitz. So Thanksgiving for me was great. We actually saw Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh my gosh.
The night before Thanksgiving, and he is my family's favorite comedian. I mean, and he should be everyone's favorite comedian because he's so relatable.
Is he on SNL?
He's not on SNL. I don't know if he's hosted or not, but He was hilarious. I was laughing the entire time. I mean, if people know me, like, I laugh at pretty much everything. But, I mean, it was amazing. It was so good. Went out in Philly, which was nice because I used to live in Philly. And then Thanksgiving was amazing. My mom made her notorious stuffing. Has some ground beef in there. And before you knock that, it actually is incredible when you put some ground beef in there. And then we had the sweet potatoes, not with mushrooms, with marshmallow.
See,
I was about to say mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. We got mashed potatoes, and then we got marshmallows. See, I don't like any of those.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I'm all about the brown sugar and the butter.
Oh my God, so
See, but it's so annoying because my mom makes the best sweet potato casserole. Also, I don't know how I feel about that word casserole.
I know that makes me like feel like
the word quiche.
Like, talk about words that you don't like. Hold
okay,
on.
no, everyone's like, I don't like the word moist. That is so just.
I hate the word moist.
No, but it's fine. It's a fine word.
Yeah.
I think everyone doesn't like it. So it's just like, that's the first word that everyone thinks. But then, I feel like there's worse words than that.
For sure.
It's quiche,
casserole,
and then nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies. Oh my God.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay, this is the last thing I'll say about a word that's weird. Remember, one of our friends told us that one of her sorority sisters hated the word slice.
Why was that?
You know what? I don't know why she hated slice, but the more I say slice, I'm like, that kind of does sound weird. And then
that's like tennis, though.
Slice
and
but
dice.
Then to make herself feel better, she had to say puddles after that, which was interesting.
Hey, whatever works. But yeah, so anyways, back to the casserole. So when my mom makes it, the toppings, it has some sort of like cornflake topping, and of course now I can't eat it. Oh, yeah. So I just had like a normal sweet potato on the side, but it was still so good.
Dude.
It was still so good. But I need to find a way to make. I just like, what's the word? Oh my God, what am I talking about? When you can't have gluten. Okay, gluten free. I feel like there's such a thing that comes along. Yeah, that comes along. You're gluten free. I feel so complicated anytime we go out for dinner because I'm like, it's just like so complicated.
It's hard, but like, let me tell you, the weight that you shed when you don't eat gluten.
Yeah. So the difference in it's almost like how you feel. Like if you were to have a bowl of pasta, you'd feel full.
Yeah.
But if you have gluten-free pasta, I remember you had it too, it's like you're not as full.
Oh my God.
It's all about like feeling like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of how it is.
100%. Like it's all about how you feel the next morning too. Because
is that how Novak Djokovic won 42 matches in a row? That's a whole nother topic we need to get into.
Oh my God.
His diet. I remember, I think it was freshman or sophomore year of college, I think 2016 or 2017, when he won like 42, 43 matches in a row. And I was like, what is he doing? He's clearly not changing his technique or anything. But I feel like that was like the rise of the word gluten was with Novak Djokovic.
Probably.
But I'm sorry, there's absolutely no way that the reason how Novak Djokovic won 43 matches in a row was because he eliminated gluten. There's no way. I don't know what mental what mental drills he was doing before.
Yeah.
Did eliminating gluten probably help? Probably.
It probably helped him shed a few pounds, and then he's quicker on the court, honestly.
I mean, this man is so flexible, too. Have you seen he's doing the full splits
literally,
on the tennis court.
Teach me how to do that, Djokovic. Yeah. I don't even know how to freaking get that low. Oh.
No. But, yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy. It's nuts. We love Djokovic, but today we are talking about, I wish I knew Nick's middle name. Like, what do you think his mom calls him? Like, Nicholas, middle name, Kyrgios.
Probably just Nick.
Yeah, Nick Kyrgios. Okay. 1, I'm obsessed with you. 2,
I'm obsessed with you.
Okay, so number 2, though. All right, so Nick, for those of you that don't know, in 2014, that's when he got big on the tour. So that was his entrance into the tour. 2014, he was 18 years old. And his career high, though, he was ranked 13 in the world in 2016. So currently, though, he sits at 93 in the world.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Right now, Nick is 93 in the world.
And it makes sense because I feel like I haven't seen him going deep into tournaments. Like the U.S. Open, I'm pretty sure he lost like first or second round.
Did he even, okay, to be completely honest, I haven't even heard his name like this whole year when talking about tournaments.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's lost so early. And we'll get into this in a little bit, But just for more background. So like Nick is so famous for his rivalries too, like especially between him and Nadal. So like that rivalry for our listeners that don't know, and this is like one of my favorite rivalries because I like Kyrgios and I'm also obsessed with Nadal. So their rivalry started back in 2014. So again, when Kyrgios was entering into the scene at the Wimbledon Championships. So the Wimbledon, is it Wimbledon? Wimbledon. And pretty much Kyrgios was ranked 144 in the world, entered the tournament because of a wild card.
This was in 2014?
This was in 2014.
Okay.
And he actually beat Nadal in the round of 16. Yeah. So it was like this whole thing.
That's how he became
like, holy
King
crap.
Kyrgios.
Yeah, like who is this guy, right? So, but their rivalry, so like, okay, quote unquote rivalry, like nothing really bad happened between them in 2014. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think when I hear the word rivalry, I'm thinking Federer and Nadal. I don't know if we should use the word rivalry with Kyrgios and Nadal. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point.
I don't know the head-to-head, like how many times Nadal has beaten Kyrgios, and I don't know how many times Kyrgios has beaten Nadal, but I just feel like they're so like, I feel like it's like there's like just a lot of tension and kind of cattiness when they play each other. Because this is like the only reason why I'm saying this is because I remember one point when Nadal was at the net.
Dude, I'm about to say that. Yeah, no, go ahead.
And then Kyrgios, like when your opponent's at the net and you have a sitter, you usually just pick a side and like hit a winner. You usually don't aim right for the player to hit them. I mean, I would always just usually like pick a side and stuff. I'm like, but if you like do whatever, like accidentally hit them, then you put your hand up and you say sorry and stuff. I mean,
both hands up, like holy shit! I am so sorry that I nailed you in the face.
Right, but that's what I think of when I think of their.
Yes. So what Fitz is talking about is this match. This was the second round at Wimbledon in 2019.
Okay.
And Nadal comes to the net. Kyrgios has a sitter, right? And what Fitz is talking about is normal in tennis, right? You have a sitter, meaning like you have if the ball's sitting up, like winding up.
You're
for
about
the people on camera. Yeah. I'm winding up, right? So you have a sitter and you can pick a side. It's an easy shot. You've already won the point, essentially. But Kyrgios wanted to send a message, okay?
A message.
So he directly goes at Nadal's face and does not apologize for it. And in the after-court press conference, he goes, why would I apologize? I mean, the dude has gotten how many slams? How much money in the bank account? I think he can take a ball to the chest, bro. I'm not going to apologize to him at all. So, like, this is what we talk about with Kyrgios. It's like, okay.
Let's unpack that quote. I honestly have to say this, though. When he says, why do I have to apologize? Okay. If I'm playing you and I hit the ball and it hits the top of the net and drops over like an inch from the net. So it's unlucky for you, good for me. If I put my hand up, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I really sorry? Yes, it's unlucky that it happened.
Right.
But, like, at the end of the day, I still win the point.
Oh, yeah.
Like, exactly. I can't remember who was telling me that. They're like, people just need to stop putting their hands up. And, like, are they really sorry?
And I think it's more about
being respectful. And
right,
I still put, like, my hand up. I'm like, oh, sorry and stuff. But I think what Kyrgios is saying, though, is, like, this man does not need a freaking apology.
Yeah, exactly. Like, actually, right. Like, how many slam... Nadal is the face of tennis. Like, we talk about the famous rivalry. I agree. When I think of rivalry in tennis, it's Nadal and Federer. Done because of their style of games, and they're both just so classy, but they have different style of games.
Yeah.
That's, like, the classic rivalry.
Right.
Nadal is topspin, or Federer is flat. So, like, it makes sense, and they're both incredible athletes. But Kyrgios, yeah, I mean, he's right. Okay, and you're right, too. Like, I don't feel like I need to... I'm actually happy when the ball let cords over the net, because it's like, hell yeah, I just won that point.
It's an easy point for you.
You know, it's so funny, because in practice, I'm like, how can I practice hitting the ball at the net cord?
I know.
Like, how can I pull that trick... you know, out of my bag.
But also, okay, reverse thing. If you were to hit the ball and it hit the top of the net and went back on your side, like, Does your opponent say sorry, like put their hand up?
No.
No, because they're like, hell yeah, like this is my point now.
Exactly. And it's always like a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it hits
oh my
the net,
God, if it's
like,
match point.
dude.
And if it drops back on my side.
Awful. But regardless, Nick, super controversial, actually has a podcast. So he has joined the podcast gang recently. And on episode 3, which is a lot of what the content we're going to talk about in this episode deals with, is that he has claimed that he is sexually frustrated. I can't even say it. I feel like a little kid like that just learned about this in 5th grade.
If you saw our Instagram stories, a lot of people voted whether or not Nick Kyrgios is good for the game. We'll get to those results later, but this has been on many, very popular news.
Oh my God, I'm gonna read the headlines. Yeah. So in his podcast, No Boundaries, he has no boundaries. He actually does it with 2 of his buddies, Alex Babanine and James Frawley.
I think those are like his 2 best friends.
And they also play tennis.
Do they play in college or pro?
I'm pretty sure he calls him Babs. I think he played pro. Babs. I don't know.
I feel like that's going to like mean
maybe that's
something.
Wrong. Whatever. I don't really know. But like Babanine is his last name, Babs. You know what I mean?
I thought you were talking about like that's what they call like his squad.
Oh, no.
I was like, Bananas. Something else.
Seriously. But on his podcast, he actually said that, oh wait, I lost my spot. Okay, when you're trying to perform at your highest level, you start missing someone like emotionally, physically, and it can become sexual frustration.
Wait, hold on. You said when you're performing at your highest level.
When you're trying to perform at your highest level.
Okay, so when you're trying to play your best tennis,
sometimes you start to
miss someone.
Yeah.
What?
He's like, okay, literally, and I quote, when you're trying to perform at the highest level, you start missing someone like emotionally, physically, and it becomes sexual frustration. So he's saying like when he's missing somebody, he can't play at his highest level.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. So like when he's traveling a lot and like when he's trying to perform at like his best ability, then he like, I mean, the tennis tour, I personally think is way too long. I know Alex Zverev, who just won the ATP finals, he was even saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, but he probably has like a 2-3 week turnaround and then has to get back into it and start training for the Australian Open, which is in January. It's like nuts. You really have to like start getting into it. But no, I mean, I can definitely see though how you can start to obviously like miss someone, your family, your significant other when you're away training, because you're training basically every single day. You're with your trainers, you're with your coaches, you're with your hitting partners, like, and also the expense of tennis with traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not pro, but like, how does that work does a player pay for the coach and their trainers' flights? Do they pay for their hotels? I don't know. I mean, I would assume.
And like, the player, like essentially, if it works anything similar to like what Zico does, it's like you get a paycheck and then a percentage of that paycheck just immediately goes out the door to your trainer, to your coach, to your team. So it's like they just get paid like usually a percentage of your paycheck. So like, like Nick is paying for them essentially. Yeah. So like at the end of the day, like if you're not, if you're not top 10, top 15, top 20 in the world, like it is so hard to make a lot of money in tennis because you're always traveling, you're always on the road, you're putting money in expenses.
It's also an individual sport too. Like if you get injured and you have to take 6-8 months off.
Yeah.
That's like, how do you, I mean, obviously you have sponsorships and stuff, but it's like, imagine taking 6 to 8 months off of a job.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you might have money coming in with your sponsorships and stuff, but it's like, that stuff, I feel like a lot of people don't really
realize. But Nick was saying, like, I'm on the court, and I quote, I'm on the court and I can't play because I'm a bit horny, if you know what I mean. Like, okay, that's hilarious. But okay, so the headlines that came from this, the Daily Mail, this was the like we talk about media headlines all the time. This was the headline from the Daily Mail. Nick Kyrgios confesses his tennis career suffered because he was quote unquote too horny to play in a brutally honest interview. And the New York Post said, go ahead. Okay, here, wait, there's 3 here. The New York Post said Nick Kyrgios blames quote unquote sexual frustration for tennis struggles. my favorite, the Toronto Sun says, quote unquote, love game. Nick Kyrgios blames sexual frustration for on-court struggles. Or sorry, that wasn't my favorite. This is my favorite. The Sun said, game, sex, and match. Quote unquote, I can't play because I'm horny. Tennis bad boy. Nick Kyrgios reveals sexual frustration impacted performances. Dude. Again, I feel like a 5th grader just learning about this stuff, but this is hilarious. This stuff came out like a day ago.
It's like tennis is just known as this like classy sport. Like, could you ever imagine Roger Federer ever talking about this stuff?
Never. He would never say it. And he was saying like, so the when we talk about like the time away and like how long this tour is, he was saying Kyrgios had with his first girlfriend, he was away from her for 6 months. And when you're away, imagine you're dating a boy, right? Like you're away from them for so long, like 6 months, and you get in like a fight. So they were saying, like Kyrgios was saying his girlfriend, like if they got in a fight or something, he goes out on court to play. He's thinking about like his girlfriend.
I mean, yeah, I feel like if I was like dating a guy and like we got into a fight right before a match, I for sure would not be fully focused on the match. But I feel like, again, that kind of shows you how mentally exhausting and tough tennis is because you can have a great coach, but like they can give you advice and stuff, but it's like if you're not like you're the one who can control your mind when you're on the court. Like if I were to break up with a boyfriend like right before we got into like an argument, I mean that's really difficult to try and like block that out. So.
Exactly. And he was saying like it pulls you away from your training. So it's like, okay, you're away from your girlfriend for a really long time. And this is what Kyrgios was saying. Then he's going to be on FaceTime for longer. And then you're staying up later at night talking to your girlfriend for longer. And then the next day you wake up and you're tired and you can't train as well. And like
I think I'm just laughing because it's like he has a point.
Like, no, he does.
And I just love that he's like saying this.
And like, the lifestyle. So he was saying that that's why you'll find like successful tennis relationships, like younger ages, are people that also play tennis.
Yeah.
Like what Gail Monfils and who is it? Svitolina.
Yeah.
Alina Svitolina. Like they just got married, but again, they're both tennis players. They both understand and are connected to like that schedule.
Yeah,
they understand how grueling that schedule is.
And also, if they're top players and they're consistently getting into the top or the 4 Grand Slams throughout the year, then they're at the same place at the same time.
Exactly. And like Kyrgios was also saying that his relationship with his family wasn't great for a few years because he couldn't be with them because he's traveling all of the time. Like the tour is ridiculous.
It's really January to November.
Exactly. It seriously is. And then if you take time off, then like you like can't take time off.
Yeah,
because then people are going to be training.
I said, I think in our last episode, it literally takes you 4 days to get out of shape. That's how it was for me. Like I would actually be out of breath, which is pathetic. But if I was doing like drills, side to side drills, I would be freaking huffing and puffing.
Exactly. And he was saying too, like especially during COVID, that this got way worse because you couldn't bring your crew before. And he had to choose between like his coach, his girlfriend, his trainer, his manager to bring. And like with COVID, there was constraints. I don't know, depending on the tournament, if it was like one person or 2 people, I'm not sure. But again, like I understand what he's saying. Like as hilarious as those headlines are, like for me, more about like the emotional side of things. Like I think it's a little bit different like for guys. Yeah. But for me, just not being able to share those moments with my boyfriend would suck. Yeah. Like those are some of the big, if you're a professional tennis player, those are some of the biggest moments. Like if you're winning and you're doing really well at a like Emma Raducanu, when she won the US Open, her family wasn't even there. Like that's nuts.
That's so tough.
Like that's crazy. Like they couldn't be there because of COVID. It's like now I would love for my family to be at places like that, my boyfriend, whatever. But like, it just sucks when you can't share those moments with people. Yeah. And like, he has a point to it. I mean, obviously,
he does.
You know, he's just like a little bit horny, but
I mean, I don't know.
It's hilarious. And like he was saying, like, again, like we've said multiple times, this is off of like the sexual frustration, but that tennis does teach you so many life lessons because you are out there by yourself.
Yeah.
And like, you know, even fighting through like missing people emotionally or physically having them with you, like that's a lesson in itself. Even when you're on the court and you're by yourself and you have to figure things out on your own, that's a lesson too. Again, I've said this multiple times. We both said it. Like people excel in sales jobs that were previously athletes because they know how to like work through things on their own, and they stay motivated and competitive. And I don't know, I think tennis has a lot to do with that for me.
And I also feel like I've said this before, but like having a plan B, plan C, plan D, even before you're walking out on court. Like if just like relating it to sales, like if things aren't working, you're always willing to try something new. Even if you're going to fail and like doesn't work for a few, like tennis, like in points or games, whatever, like you're always willing to kind of adjust.
Yeah, exactly. And like that to me, like if I learned anything through tennis, it's like that's the biggest thing for me. Just like being able to deal with that
stuff on your own and like figuring it out.
Exactly. And it's not animosity. What's the word? Being able to deal with like I guess diversity.
No,
not diversity. Not diversity. What's the word?
Somebody said on our team. It was adversity.
Thank you, adversity, dude. Being able to deal with adversity, and that's like the biggest thing for me through tennis. But okay, like kind of a sidebar here. I wanted to tell this story about Nick Kyrgios. So again, back to the fact that I'm obsessed with you. 2019 U.S. Open round of 16. He was playing Rublev, and we were front row, and I was so excited. Oh my God, it was incredible. With the Zackies. Arthur Ashe,
what
like
a stadium.
Kyrgios, literally right next to me. Insane. But at the end of the match, Kyrgios was like throwing his towels, like sweatbands, like shoes, like crazy. And
everything
Zico,
out of his bag.
Literally just throwing things
tosses
as
his
hard as
entire bag.
He's throwing his bag, like
he's like, I'm done. I've like heard him like say on the back back fence, like when he like lost the point, he goes like, why did I play this sport? I should have played basketball.
Kyrgios, he is hilarious to watch because when he starts to lose, like he looks like, you know, he's completely given up. You can
like if I was a coach, I would be like, do not watch this guy. Like to any of my students, I'd be like, don't watch him because he's such a horrible, like when he is losing, like you don't want your players to be like watching him and stuff because he's not really the best role model for that, but like he's also just so fun to watch.
Oh my God. I mean, he's out here. He doesn't care.
No.
But like
it's what tennis needs.
Exactly. It's what tennis needs. We need a little bit of that drama. So Zico is standing next to me on his phone, sees like a white thing fling over, corner of his eye, grabs it. It's wet. And it's his sweatband. Gives it to me. I still have it. I wish I could show you guys right now. It's like literally in a plastic baggie. I'm disgusting.
You say baggie?
It's a plastic baggie. But I have his sweatband. I have his sweatband. And you know, it was the highlight of my okay, I'm gonna relax.
Highlight of your career.
But wait, can you please tell the story of when you bumped into him?
Oh yes, this was actually the same night.
It was literally the night after.
The night after. So the night after he lost, and so this is 2019. Again, we were in New York right before COVID, and I was out at a club. We were at Lavo, and I was just like there, whatever, having a good time. And I saw Nick Kyrgios was there. And I immediately like FaceTimed me. I was like, Zaina, like you wouldn't believe like this is.
I was
it's
supposed
Nick.
to go out.
Like you have to like come on. I was like so mad you weren't there, but I was like, I don't know if I should like go up to him. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I obviously know who he is. I'm like, that's clearly Nick Kyrgios.
Yeah, like
clearly like letting out his anger from the match by going to the club. Love to see it. But I basically went up to him. Well, he was like walking towards me. He wasn't gonna like talk to me. But like,
I'm sure
he was wanting. No. He was with, I think it was another girl. This was a while ago. But he was walking towards me, and I was like, "Hey, Nick." I didn't know what to say. This is so embarrassing.
It's literally not embarrassing. It's amazing.
This is like your younger brother's favorite story.
I know, this is Ian's favorite.
So he like walks up to me. I'm like, "Hey, Nick."
Testing.
So I go, Nick comes to me, I can't even say this. It's so embarrassing. I go, "Hey, Nick, forehand or backhand?" And he looks at me dead serious and goes, "Neither."
That is the best story
Like,
I've ever heard.
Is that a funny story? I don't even know if it's that funny.
It's hilarious.
It's fun. I think it's funny because what else would I expect from him? I'm like, "Hey, forehand or backhand?" Trying to be on like cute, and he just goes, "Neither," and walks to the bar.
Okay, no, but the reason why that's funny is because he's a professional tennis player.
Yeah.
What else would you say?
I feel like he just hates what he does.
Literally. Okay, well, yeah. No, actually, I think he's over it. Okay, so like, I wanted to circle back to this.
Circle back.
Let me circle back, piggyback.
Piggybacking off of that comment.
So,
circle back.
Well, actually, first, so him and his friends talk about on this episode of the podcast where he mentions his sexual frustration, that when he goes out, him and his friends, they were like, average, like how many shots, whatever. Kyrgios average shots. Dude, I'm obsessed with this mic. Average
AS tennis ASMR.
Average shots 15, guys. I would be dead. I did die.
Yeah,
15 shots.
15 shots a night.
Not a night, but like when he goes out, it's like 15 shots.
So when he's out and
about.
Oh my gosh,
he's a tall
this man's
dude.
a tank.
He's a tall dude. 15 shots, crazy. But
what do you think his average shot per rally is?
Shot per rally? Oh, not that.
2.
Probably like
2.
Serve. Yeah, 2.
And that's it.
Literally, that's how it is with like him and John Isner.
Yeah, if he like serves and like the phone and gets back, probably just catches the ball.
Literally, like
Probably
that's how
just catches
Kyrgios.
the ball. Is like, screw it, love 15.
Well, like okay, he also mentioned that like that's his style of play. Like he loves to be aggressive.
Yeah. You know when he jumps and it does those like jumping forehands? I feel like that's what he did with Nadal and had like him 100 miles an hour.
Dude, and like the jumping to the overhead.
Also, he's like very well known for the underhand serve.
Does he do like between the legs too, or is that more Federer?
I think that's Federer. Yeah. Wait, okay. Underhand serve. I think like a lot of articles were calling it underarm serve.
Yeah, underarm. I don't think that's wrong. That's wrong. They don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's underhand serve. Yeah. But he also would do the underhand serve thing in Wimbledon. I think it was against Nadal too. And the crowd, of course, is like booing and stuff. It's like not like professional. Oh, please.
Literally
like
relax.
You think anyone in the stands right now could actually win 1 point against Kyrgios? Let him do what he's going to do. And guess what? Every single freaking time he does the underhand serve, he basically wins a point.
Yeah. Oh my God. But Kyrgios, he was saying how like the grind of the tour, like he never wants to play as many tournaments again. That keeps him in the top 10. Because like to be in the top 10, you have to play like all of those tournaments.
And I feel like that's why Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, what they've done is so incredible. Because I feel like, I mean, up until like the past couple of years, they've stayed very, very healthy. Yeah. And it's like the fact that they are able to stay not even in the top 10, but top 3 for 10 plus consecutive years. Yeah. Like that is so, I don't know if we'll, I don't know.
If we'll see that again.
Yeah. I wonder how much longer we have with, I mean, Djokovic got 30 more years.
Well, Djokovic, like he's actually, I mean, I don't think he's going to play in the Australian Open, but Nadal is going to play.
He is.
That's what I read.
Let's
Nadal's
go.
Gonna play.
Let's go to Australia.
I know. Oh, God, I would love to. Also, random fact. So you know how when Kyrgios like cracks his racket, whatever. This is so random, but I just wanted to say this. He said it on his podcast. So apparently, when he cracks his racket, people are like, people get pissed, like, oh my God, and he's fined, all this stuff. Well, the money that he's fined for actually goes to funding lower level tennis. So like futures, like those tournaments and stuff. Like when he cracks a racket and he donates $10,000 for cracking a racket, it actually goes back to the game of tennis. So like Kyrgios was saying, like I'm actually helping tennis when I crack my racket.
Okay, this is another topic. Why? Okay, I know it's like unsportsmanlike by cracking your racket, but it's your racket.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, I understand where if you're hitting a ball up into the stands, like out of anger, that could like hurt someone. Like we saw with Djokovic at the US Open when he hit the line judge like in the throat and he was, do you remember that?
That was insane. That was insane.
Like I remember watching that live and I was like, this man is going to be defaulted by the tournament director. And he did. So, like, I understand if you're hitting the ball into the stands, that's, like, out of anger. Okay, I understand that. But I just feel like I don't know. It's like if you're hitting your racket out of anger, if you're a tennis player, you have to let out your anger in some way. I mean, I would always be screaming into my towel with a back fence. And honestly, sometimes I would play better when I was more angry. My mom would literally call me a mad hornet. That was the joke. Was that Mad Hornet Jackie is back at it again.
Wait, why?
And then I would win like 6-0.
Okay,
it wouldn't happen often that I would win 6-0, but when I did, it was because I was mad. So I'm just gonna say this: I just don't know if you should be fined if you smack your own racket. But people are like, well, it's not your tennis court. It's like the lawn of tennis club for Wimbledon's court. It's their property. But I'm like, it's your racket. Get your anger out some way or shape or form. You might as well just take it out on yourself.
That's a good point. I never really thought about it, and I always thought about it from the lens of like it almost feels like if you saw like a fight in ice hockey, like yes, like it's like almost taboo, right? Like in ice hockey when we see fights, we want that it happens, and then people break it up.
The crowd goes crazy. You're banging up against like the plastic. Like it's so fun to watch.
Exactly.
I mean. But then it's just like
but it's
tennis.
like technically like not right. Everybody's like put in their timeouts or whatever.
The penalty box, and then someone gets like a power play and stuff. But it's like
that to me is what the breaking of the racket feels like for tennis. Because like you're not gonna like.
But they're getting fined.
I know it's not
for hitting a racket on a ball, and then they're punching someone in the face, and they're not getting fined.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm telling you, it's all just about the sport. You have hockey, and then you have tennis, and it's more of like a classy, whatever sport. If you cross the net during a game, you are literally disqualified. In juniors, if you cross the net, you're like, oh no, that ball was in. I'm gonna hop over the net.
You're disqualified.
Yeah, you're literally like, if there's like you can't. That's how it was in juniors.
Do you know that I got lucky. At Clay's. It was like it wasn't at the main. Okay, so at Clay's you had like the main site. Remember with like all the line judges sitting in the chairs.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't at the main site. This is actually where Glenn watched me play. Glenn was our coach.
Shout out Glenn.
Shout out Glenn. What?
Glenn.
Shout out Glenn.
Yes.
So I was playing
it's okay if you don't remember.
I know, but
seed.
she actually I was playing a seed. She played for I don't know, she ended up playing for some like ACC school. She was good. You know her. She's from Florida. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Danielle? I want to say it's like Danielle. You know her. You've talked about her before. But regardless,
yeah. I'll think of it.
I don't know. So she called a ball out that I like thought was in, and to get in her head, I literally was like, show me the mark, because on clay, like the ball will make a mark on the surface. So I'm like, show me a mark, and she like points to it, and I'm like, that's it. She's like, it's out, and I literally I walk over. I was like, I mean.
Was it out?
Point, I think it was out. But like, honestly, I don't know what I was going to do at that point. Like I did it. Something just came over me. I was like, this isn't even like me. Like, I don't even care, honestly.
You got a little curious. You got a little angry.
Literally got a little angry, but like, that's good for the game of tennis. Yeah. We love that.
But okay, here's another thing. When you're playing a match on a hard court, what I cannot stand is, let's just say I'm playing you and I hit a ball and it's in, and you're like, ow. And I'm like, show me the mark, Zaina. And you're like, there is no mark. It's hard court.
There is mark. There is a mark, let me tell you.
On any hard court, and there are 2 million.
There's marks.
2 million ball marks on the court. Why do you think they get resurfaced? Okay, yeah, there's probably cracks and stuff, but it's like, there's a mark on the court, especially if it's a new ball.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's a new ball. Oh my God, I could not stand that one. But even some like refs would be like, "Man, this is a hard court." Like, I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
Do you
clearly
remember?
Oh my God.
Remember? Hold on. Do you remember the line judge at UConn?
I can't even.
I don't even remember his name. This man, guys, I'm telling you, should have. I mean, he was probably 150 years old. I'm not even like back. I was poor guy. Like, he was great. Loved him, obviously, because he was on UConn surface. Like, he helped us out a lot.
Okay, I gotta say something now.
Oh yeah, what? What do you?
How on earth in the juniors did we call our own lines?
Like, that's where you're at the peak of lying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like learning how to lie. But
also, imagine baseball without an umpire calling strikes, and the high schoolers are calling
the
shots.
Honestly drove like some people away from the sport. There was this kid that I used to play tennis with at Radley. Mm. He was so good. And he would like go to nationals, whatever. But he hated tennis because there were so many cheaters in juniors. Mm-hmm. And it's such trash because like everybody that's listening to this podcast has watched a professional tennis match, and especially it's like, oh, like I'm going to challenge that line call. And when literally smaller than a millimeter, like the smallest of it, like the smallest part of the tennis ball, a piece of fuzz touches the net, that is considered in. Mm-hmm. And like in juniors, that was not the case ever.
If it was 6 inches in, it was out to people.
Exactly.
And it's like, what's annoying is that like there were some people where it's just like they knew when to cheat.
Exactly.
And like, okay.
It was almost like a mental tactic.
Yeah, it was. And I just feel like we're not like, I feel like by us even talking about this, it's not like, oh, whatever, like you're accusing cheaters. It's like every single person has experienced this. My mom was recently playing a doubles match, and the people that she was playing, so the ball landed out and then hit my mom in like the shoulder or something. And her opponents were like, that's our point. I'm like, no, it's not. If the ball bounces first on the clay or the hard court or whatever, it's still going to make a spot, whatever. If it bounces on the clay court first and there's a mark and then it hits you, it's your point. Because your opponents hit it out and they basically like, no, it's our point. And they basically like got up to the baseline and the net for doubles and we're like ready. And they're like, well, I mean, what are we gonna do? And I'm just like, oh.
Like, that kills me because in the moment, if there was a line judge there, then they would have been like, okay, ladies on the other side of the court that are not your mother, you were so wrong. Like, you know what I mean? The ball bounced out. That means it's out.
The ball could have landed out, hit a car, hit the moon, came back down and hit my mom in the head.
Wait, that reminds me of a story.
Just like,
oh my God.
Wait.
Okay. This feels like story time. I love this. So I was playing with one of my best friends from high school, from middle school, Max, and we played mixed doubles. And we played mixed doubles. And
in
Max,
a real tournament?
Max came. Yeah, it was like this fun. It was actually a tournament, like you could win money. It was a great time. It was a men's and women's open at Aronimink. It was a great place. Mm-hmm. Max is like 6'7". Like, this kid is tall.
The ace king.
Exactly. Ace king. Like, his serve is incredible. And we literally, so we split sets because like I'm hot and cold, whatever. And we split sets and Max is serving. So it's a 10-point tiebreaker for the third set. And Max is serving to the woman on the other side of the court. Okay. I'm like, we got it. We're down 8-9. So the opponents, match point. And I'm like, okay, Max, 6'7", my dude. Like, your serve is like 150 miles an hour. Like, here we go. Yeah. Okay. So he literally shanks the first serve, like almost hits Allie. Like literally Allie's on the side of the court, like literally hits it on the side of his racket. I don't even know how it happens because it was at night. So like sometimes when you're under the lights, it's really hard to see the ball. Shanks the ball. I'm like, all right, we're good. Like again, 6'7". Here comes the kick serve. Women, I want to say we can do a kick serve, but not as good as the guys. Okay,
there's a few girls.
There's a few girls. It is, yeah, not me. Stozer, what's up? But like anyway, so then here comes the kick serve, and I'm like, here we go. I'm like, Max, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. He hits the kick serve, shanks at the top of his racket, goes over the fence. I literally turn around. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell just happened. But it was hilarious. It was a great way to go out. I mean, it was so fun playing with him.
Did they still call it out? Wouldn't that be your point?
Literally, like
if it bounced back like, and hit your opponent.
Literally, you're talking about like hitting the moon. Like both of these serves, I was like, how? Like I turned around and looked at him. We were just like, all right, like we're good. It was hilarious, but incredible.
Oh my God, mixed doubles though. Mixed doubles is kind of slept on. It is so fun. Oh my God.
Mixed doubles is so fun.
I played it like once in a tournament. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
God.
It's scary when you're returning the guy's serve because even in mixed doubles, like there is a level of, I want to say chivalry, honestly. Like the guy...
See, okay,
unless they suck, like they're not gonna go, like a guy that has a sitter down the line is not gonna rail it at the girl. That's never gonna happen.
Right? Yeah.
That's never gonna happen.
Sportsmanship.
Exactly. Like even if I was at the net and Kyrgios was about to hit his sitter, like I hope he wouldn't hit me.
Would you? You would want him to.
But seriously. There is that level of like there is that level of whatever. What am I saying? There is that level of like a guy against a girl in mixed doubles. Like they're not gonna go as hard. I don't know.
See, I'm just like go hit 130 to the girl. Let's win this.
Exactly. Unless you're like
let's make this quick. Yeah. I want your service games to be under a minute. Yeah. Before you love.
Seriously. But
I don't know. Yeah.
Hilarious stuff, guys. This was such a fun episode.
These mics are truly,
I mean, game changer. I feel like professional right now.
I mean, we are professional.
I mean, look at us.
We might not be professional tennis players, but we're professional.
Cheers! I fully
podcasters.
Finished. Clink, you hear that clink?
Clink, clink, clink.
This was so fun.
So fun. We need to actually play tennis again. If anyone has good recommendations for places to play in New York, let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know. I love it. Little tennis. Let us know. But
my God.
We should get
dude that whisker.
We should try and get hey Nick Kyrgios on the pod.
Oh my God,
just
Nick
through
Kyrgios.
Zoom. Nick, that's all we're asking for.
I mean, Nick Kyrgios says Australia is where it's at. He also loves New York City, but he's like, it's wild, which I completely get it. I love New York though. Like we can handle it, but it's crazy.
I don't know if I can.
Honestly, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But he says Australia is where it's at, and like, you know what?
We need to go to the Australian Open.
Yeah.
Bring our mics, interview some players. How fun would that be?
We're doing that and Wimbledon.
Okay, you know when the whole TikTok was like berries and cream, Wimbledon missed a peak opportunity.
Hey, but they have it this year.
They do.
Better do berries and cream has got to come back.
Sound for the strawberries and cream. I mean, come on. I should be their TikTok
berries and cream.
I should really be their TikTok social media manager. You know, like I think it said for Australian Open, it's actually called the Happy Slam because everyone's in a good mood. We should go to Australia.
You guys.
I mean, there's also I think there's some new guidelines for players. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I think
you have to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
You have to be vaccinated to play. So I think, because there's obviously all of the news circulating about like, is Djokovic vaccinated? Is he not? He and his father feel like they don't have to say that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you don't have to say that. So I don't know that if he's going to play. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of happens in the next, I was going to say next month, but next month is tomorrow.
December 1st.
Oh
my God. I love these mics. I love you guys more importantly. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Of course, everyone. Thank you so much. And also, wait, we did an Instagram poll on our story on whether we think, or whether you all think, if Nick Kyrgios is good for the game, the sport of tennis. 80% of people said yes, and 20% of people said no. There were a lot of messages saying, oh, he's just whatever. The things that he says, But 80% of people think that Nick Kyrgios is good for the game. And I have to agree.
I agree.
I completely agree. He brings a little pizzazz. He brings a little spice to the game. Exactly. I like it. I like it.
I love it for tennis because especially as, I don't know, I feel like that's how you keep it interesting because tennis is so... I mean, it is so sportsmanlike. So when you see a little bit of that,
it's like Johnny Mac.
Exactly. When you see a little bit of that, like rivalry, that mess,
yeah.
You know, like
I think of like boxing.
Kind of. Yeah. I think of boxing and like fighting.
Yeah.
It's like it brings a little bit of that in there. So I agree. I think Nick Kyrgios is good for the game. I have your sweatband.
Mm-hmm. We'd love to see him in the Australian Open.
Exactly.
I want to see him play.
I can't wait.
But anyways, that wraps episode 9, everyone. Make sure to follow us on socials and everything for more updates, for more videos, for more posts and everything. But everyone, thank you again so much for tuning in. Have a great night and happy December tomorrow.
Happy December.
Alrighty. See everyone. Bye.
Bye.